All right, so today I want to talk about variables in JavaScript, and it can be really confusing. Try to figure out how am I supposed to use var, let, const, when do I use one over the other? And there's honestly just a simple way to remember this and a simple way to know what to use and when to use it. So I'm just going to jump right in and say that since ES6, it is best practice not to use var. So that is about the last thing I'm going to say about var. Used to be there used to be no let and const, and there was only var. But since ES6, it's all let and const now. So just don't ever use var. And in fact, if you're copying code from like from Stack Overflow or something, I'd switch it all over to let and const just because it's much more up to date and easy for other people to understand your intention when declaring variables. So that brings us down to let and const now. And I guess quickly, a variable is any identifier for a value. So the easiest way to explain this, I guess, is to jump in as always. So let's say we want to declare a variable called my name, and we want to set it equal to my name is Seth. And so here, what we've done is we've not only declared a variable called my name, but we've initialized it to equal the string of Seth. And what we can do here is we can go ahead and console log my name. And then we're also going to console log type of my name, just to demonstrate how some of this stuff works. So we're going to use node to run this file. And here we get Seth is the value assigned to my name, and string is the type of value that has been assigned. And what we can do here is let's go down and let's use let now. So far, I've just basically said using const without a big differentiation between when to use const and when to use let. And most people will probably tell you, which I agree with, use const as much as possible because it's kind of bad practice to have values that are or variables that are getting changed all the time, or at least can be changed. What you want is to have as much consistency as possible. So unless you specifically have a need to have a variable that's gonna change, always use const. It's just best practice. Now, if for some reason you need to have a variable that's going to change, that's when you come in and use let. And let me just demonstrate why. So say you've assigned my name to Seth, but later in your program, you need to change my name to Doug. So let's go ahead and I don't even think I need to console log anything because this should throw an error when we just try to run it. Yes, and it does. And here we go. We got my name equals Doug, assignment to a constant variable. And what it's basically saying is you can't reassign a new value to this variable my name because we set up here that my name was going to be a constant. And another quick thing to note here is you might have some people that say anytime you use const, it should be all uppercase and underscores like this. That is another convention that a lot of people use. I personally haven't come across a lot of people that are really strict on that, but technically that might be correct. But use whatever is readable and that you like. So back to my example here. What happens? We know if we use const, we can't change things. But what happens if we use let? Now, let gives us the flexibility not only to change values, but also to change types. So here I'm going to change my name to Doug, and I'm going to go ahead and console log my name again, and just kind of show that we should be able to do this with no problems. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a good actually example here of a good common error. I don't know if it's common, it might just be me, but you don't have to declare. So remember, declaration is when we use let, const, or var. Initialization is when we actually assign a value to the variable that we've declared. So here I should not have redeclared a variable that already exists because that is not okay with JavaScript here. So here we go. We got our expected output now, Seth, string, and Doug. Seth is initially my name. My name is initially set to Seth. It is a string. and then I reassign my name to, or reassign Doug to my name. So last thing I'll do here is point out the functionality of when you use let, not only can you change the value, you can change the type, and that's why I use type of up here. So what I can do is I can come down here and say, okay, well, I'm going to put my name to my age, 28. And unless I'm missing something, this should be totally fine. Yes. So, and here you're able to see why let isn't maybe the most helpful thing, is because our program ran with no trouble being able to assign my age to my name. So not only did I change the name in the file here, I also changed the type. So down here, um, we now actually have a, sorry, it's hard to type and speak at the same time. What we have here is we've completely changed the type to a number. And so you won't see let being used a ton, and if you do, it's probably not best practice. My personal recommendation and practice is to use const as much as possible and only use let in a situation where you need a variable to be able to change. And that doesn't happen a ton. You'd be surprised at how much you can get away with using almost all const. And so that's a pretty simple introduction on when to use let, const, and var. And yeah, thanks for watching.